Back in 1955 America, a $1 bill had real weight. It could fill your gas tank, buy a loaf of bread, a carton of milk, a dozen eggs, and still leave you change for a movie ticket. A dollar wasn't just money. It was value, stability, and freedom rolled into one. Families lived well, prices made sense, and life felt affordable. Fast forward to today. That same dollar can't even buy a cup of coffee. What happened between then and now? How did everyday essentials go from pocket change to paycheck stress? This isn't just about numbers. It's about how America changed. Let's look at what a $1 bill bought in 1955 and why those everyday prices will absolutely shock you today. And if you love discovering how the past connects to the present, subscribe and turn on the bell, because we've got more stories that reveal how money, culture, and time shaped the world we live in today. Your support keeps independent history alive. One click, one view, $1 at a time. To understand what a $1 bill could buy in 1955, we first need to step into the world that surrounded it. America was booming. Factories were busy, paychecks were steady, and optimism filled the air. The war years were behind, the baby boom was underway, and suburbs were spreading across the nation like wildfire. Families were moving into new homes, cars lined every driveway, and the idea of the American dream wasn't just a slogan, it was daily life. The average income hovered around $4,000 a year, and the minimum wage was exactly $1 an hour. That might sound tiny today, but back then, it was enough to support a small family, pay rent, and even save a little. Every dollar carried purpose. People budgeted carefully because every coin actually meant something. Prices reflected a world that believed in steady progress, not constant inflation. A brand new car might cost $1,900. A new home, just $10,000. Families could afford vacations, home-cooked meals, and a night out at the movies, all on modest salaries. There was a balance between what you earned and what things cost. It wasn't a perfect time, but financially, 1955. America was stable, predictable, and full of opportunity. The dollar was trusted, powerful, and respected, a symbol of strength at home and abroad. And that's where the story of everyday value begins. Because when gas was only 23 cents a gallon, a single dollar didn't just fill your pocket, it filled your tank. You hand over your $1 bill, and he fills your tank with over 4 gallons of fuel. Not only that, he wipes your windshield, checks your oil, and maybe even gives your tires a quick glance. Customer service came free with every drop of gas. At around 23 cents per gallon, America's highways were open and affordable. Cars weren't luxury items, they were part of daily life. Families went for Sunday drives, teenagers cruised Main Street, and road trips were an adventure anyone could afford. The idea of freedom on 4 wheels was more than a phrase, it was a lifestyle. Compare that to today. In 2025, the average gas price in the US hovers around $3.50, $4 per gallon. That same dollar wouldn't even get you a quarter of a gallon. The difference is staggering. It's not just about inflation, it's about how the cost of movement changed the way people live. In 1955, a dollar stretched far because energy was cheap, communities were local, and life moved at a slower pace. Today, the same trip to work or the store eats away at paychecks faster than ever. Back then, a single dollar took you places. Literally. It represented freedom, affordability, and confidence in the future. But when you stepped out of that car and into a grocery store, the value of that same dollar became even clearer. Because inside those aisles, prices were so low, they almost seem impossible now. Step out of that shiny '55 Chevy and walk into a neighborhood grocery store. The air smells of fresh bread, polished floors, and roasted coffee. Shelves are neatly lined, prices handwritten on small white tags. There's no barcode scanner, no loyalty app, just cash, coins, and conversation. And that $1 bill in your pocket? It can fill an entire shopping bag. In 1955 America, food was genuinely affordable. A loaf of bread cost about 18 cents, a dozen eggs around 61 cents, and a quart of milk roughly 23 cents. With $1, you could buy breakfast for the family, bread, milk, eggs, and still have change left for a newspaper or an apple pie mix. Groceries weren't about stretching a paycheck. They were simply part of ordinary life. Farm to table wasn't a trend, it was normal. Local dairies delivered milk to your doorstep, bakeries made bread daily, families cooked nearly every meal at home. Housewives clipped coupons, but not out of desperation, out of habit. The kitchen was the heart of the home, and groceries were priced to keep it full. Now compare that to today. A loaf of bread averages $2. 3. A dozen eggs hover around $4. 5. And a gallon of milk can cost $4 or more. That same $1 buys almost nothing. The weekly grocery run has become one of the biggest household expenses. Back then, food didn't empty wallets. It brought families together, breakfast tables, Sunday dinners, and backyard barbecues. And when the chores were done and the groceries were put away, there was still enough left over for one of America's favorite pastimes, a night out at the movies. It's Friday night in 1955 America. The groceries are put away, the cars got gas, and the family is ready for a night out. The big question isn't if you can afford it, it's what movie you'll watch. Neon signs glow outside small-town theaters, and the smell of buttered popcorn fills the air. With just a $1 bill, you could step into another world. A movie ticket cost about 54 cents, popcorn another 10 cents, and a soda for 5 cents. That meant for $1, you could enjoy the full cinematic experience. Ticket, snacks, and maybe even a piece of candy on the way out. For couples, it was the perfect date night. For families, an affordable escape into stories of heroes, romance, and laughter. Going to the movies wasn't a luxury, it was part of the culture. People lined up outside theaters showing Rebel Without a Cause, Mr. Roberts, or Lady and the Tramp. Drive-in cinemas were everywhere. Teenagers pulled up in convertibles, radios tuned in, while parents sat comfortably at home. The magic of the silver screen united everyone. Today, that same $1 doesn't even buy a small popcorn. The average movie ticket in 2025 costs around $12. 15. And with snacks, you're easily spending $25, $30 for one person. The idea of going out to the movies as a regular pastime has been replaced by streaming subscriptions and home screens. But in 1955, the theater was more than entertainment. It was connection, excitement, and community. Every ticket carried the feeling that life was good and dreams were affordable. And when Saturday morning came around, Americans returned to a world of confidence, fashion, and style, where even $1 could make you feel like you belonged to something bigger. Walk through a 1955 department store and you'd find style within reach of every pocket. The shelves at Sears and JCPenney were filled with neatly folded shirts, polished shoes, and dresses that didn't break the bank. $1 could buy a pair of stockings, a necktie, or a scarf. Quality items made to last. Fashion wasn't fast, it was thoughtful. Men wore pressed suits, women styled elegant skirts, and even children dressed neatly for school. Clothes reflected pride, not price tags. Shopping was an experience. The sound of cash registers, friendly clerks, and the excitement of bringing something new home. Today, fashion has flipped. Cheap clothes flood stores, but true quality costs more than ever. In 1955, a $1 bill didn't buy excess. It bought value. If there was one symbol of post-war success, it was the American home. In 1955, the average house cost around $10,000, and monthly rent hovered near $75. $1 could cover a day's worth of utilities or even pay for home repairs. Suburbs were booming, families moving into tidy neighborhoods with lawns, porches, and white fences. Owning a home wasn't a dream, it was expected. A single income could afford a mortgage, a car, and a comfortable life. Fast forward to today, and housing has become the biggest financial burden. That same modest home now costs over $300,000, while rent devours entire paychecks. The dollar that once built dreams can't even buy a square foot of living space in many cities. In 1955, a house symbolized stability. Today, it's become a luxury. Daily life in 1955, America ran on simplicity and small costs. A phone call cost just 10 cents, a stamp was 3 cents, and a cup of coffee could be bought for 5 cents at any diner counter. People didn't scroll or text, they talked. Neighbors shared news over fences, families gathered around radios, and handwritten letters carried real emotion. That single $1 bill could handle a day's worth of communication, several calls, a few letters, and still cover your morning coffee. It was a time when connection wasn't instant, but it was meaningful. Today, communication costs are buried in monthly bills, phone upgrades, and data plans that eat away hundreds each year. The personal touch is gone. In 1955, staying connected didn't drain your wallet, it strengthened your relationships. Next stop, dining out, where $1 could make you feel truly rich. Step inside a classic 1955 diner. Red stools, chrome counters, and the faint hum of a jukebox in the corner. The smell of sizzling burgers fills the air as a waitress pours steaming coffee into heavy mugs. For just $1, you could eat like royalty. A hamburger was about 25 cents, fries around 15 cents, and a thick milkshake cost 20 cents. Add a slice of pie for 10 cents, and you'd still have change left. Eating out wasn't a luxury, it was a weekly ritual. Teenagers met for dates, workers stopped in after shifts, and families treated themselves after church. Meals weren't rushed either. People sat, talked, and laughed without worrying about inflated bills or hidden fees. Fast food wasn't an empire yet. Diners were the heart of local life. Now, that same $1 won't even cover a small fry at a fast food chain. A basic burger meal easily runs $10 or more. What once fed a family now barely feeds one person. Still, the memory of those diners, the smell of coffee, the glow of neon lights, and the value of that single dollar represents more than lost prices. It represents a lost rhythm of life, where every meal felt earned and every dollar spent worthwhile. So what happened? How did a $1 bill that once bought groceries, wine, and dinner turn into loose change? The answer lies in one powerful word: inflation. From 1955 to 2025, the cost of living has risen over 1,000%. That means $1 back then equals nearly $12 today. Prices increased slowly but steadily. Wages rose too, but not always at the same pace. The balance that once existed between earnings and expenses slowly disappeared. The late 20th century brought globalization, new technologies, and higher living standards, but also rising housing costs, debt, and consumption. Convenience replaced patience. Credit replaced savings. The value of the dollar didn't vanish overnight. It eroded year by year as lifestyles expanded and expectations grew. In 1955, money felt tangible. People handled cash, budgeted carefully, and bought what they could truly afford. Today, transactions are invisible, swipes, clicks, and auto payments that make spending painless but easy to lose track of. Inflation didn't just change prices, it changed people. It reshaped how we view worth, effort, and comfort. A dollar used to symbolize effort and pride, now it feels almost meaningless. Yet behind those numbers lies a lesson, one that still matters today. And if this trip through time made you rethink money's worth, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because remembering where value came from might just help us find it again.